so boring. I hate it.
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's
So much more fun.
all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky. He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble. Ground forms up under his feet as it pointing the way. He don't stop to wonder why. Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. In the calamity, that a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella, forced out from underground. Sometimes you just need a drink. Gotta hold her still to spin up the chamber. A school of squirts tunnels up around them. Must have fled here from the mines. He sets foot inside one of Zealandia's famous watering holes. Inside's old Rondi, the bartender. The calamity got him for his drinking did. Then Kid finds his trusty shield. The security takes him for a petty thief. Special delivery. Gas fellas. Windbags start turning up for last call. More squirts start coming out of the woodwork. A big old fella pops out in front of the kid. He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow, and it ain't broke. Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid. Right back at you, he finds the distillery, right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job. Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins. An old ferry barge sends the kid on his way. The Bastion's real close now. Finds the core to the Wharf District. Well, down he goes. Down toward the Bastion. Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races. Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me. And just like that, the Bastion comes alive. Starts growing again. Growing stronger. Kid's gotta put its power.
Decent wharf.
Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown. Kid ponders what to build. Makes time to sample spirits from my personal supply. Kid don't know what's out there waiting for him. Now he lands at the intersection between bad and wrong. Ought to be a core down one of these twisted streets. But which one? And there it is. But it's locked down tight in an alloy cage. The blustery old foreman's keeping his fellas in check. And now there's a new marshal in town. He hears the whole place groan, but it's too tough to fall. He comes back. Just like I knew he would. The core hums in his pack. The monument's calling for it. Kid does it again. Only fair he decides what we build next. The Bastion's a place of peace, but we can hold our own if we have to.
That was some pretty bad menuing. Bastioning, whatever you want to call it.
In better days, the melting pot was sealed tighter than the skin on a squirt. plans to survive the calamity. It had to be stab weeds. If there's a core, he figures it ought to be deeper down. Now what could possibly go wrong? Some of the stuff lying around is downright dangerous, quite a bit. As it turns out, the cage starts lifting from the core ever so slow. All Kid can do is wait. Shipments start falling in. Not every squirt's born bad. Some spring to the Kid's defense. Judging by the movement of the cage, it's gonna take a little while. Scumbags don't take kindly to interlopers. Even some gas fellas take his corner. Heard he popped that Mino. At this rate, maybe 5 more minutes. Maybe 30. Hard to tell. Squirts get real territorial around the core. Then a shipment of free samples shows up. It ain't all bad, as the Kid finds some spices from the motherland. Tax-free. One thing's for sure, that cage is awful heavy. It's a troublesome scene, to be sure. A few moments left, and the core goes free. 10, 9, 8, 7. You give or take a few seconds. Finally, the core's within reach. And done. He's got it. Just gotta get to the nearest barge.
Not bad. Stupid squirt killed the gas fella I wanted to jump off on.
I still remember the look on his face after that one.
It's pretty funny though.
The old
It's not expecting it.
But the new world's just getting started.
Even worse menuing than before.
Couples used to walk the sundown path. Kid ain't here for pleasure though. But then, somebody gets to the core before the Kid. A single panic squirt could bring the whole place down. Well, the path ain't exactly open to visitors no more. See, the path was intended for leisurely strolling and such. Sky bridges link the path together. One of them bridges whips the Kid along. The calamity changed everything. Even when the wind blows. Well, if we mastered the winds in the old days, we can do it again. Who else could have taken the core? Scumbag ate it by mistake. Tough break. Unlike the Kid, that core ain't coming back. No, they used to ship live munitions down the path. They get real crazy.
Nice.
Pick 'em up. In all his toil, Kid
A good run so far.
an overwhelming question. Who else could have survived the calamity? So he didn't find the core that time, but that ain't about to stop us. The dead welcome him with open arms. The calamity took everybody after all. Kid sees it plain, frozen faces all around. These folks never saw the calamity coming, but someone did. Someone close. It was someone like him. It's a snag or two trying to get to him. He ain't about to stop, no matter what. He's got so many questions after all. The Thunder brothers didn't make it. Nordy the bird boy didn't make it. But him, he survived. Just think, without that man, we wouldn't be here right now, would we? What do you say to a man who's seen too much? Kid hasn't a clue, but he says this. He's a proper gentleman, that man. His name is Zolf. No hiding he's an Ura. Folks like him ain't never been a common sight in Caelondia. He's relieved to see a living face or two. The kid and I introduce ourselves in kind. Both to him and to each other for the first time. The cores, they remember. That's why this place is coming together. That's why things are gonna be alright. Well, look what we have here. We tracked down a couple more cores near the edge of the city. There's only one way to Cinder Brick Fort. The hard way. Sure, the city marshals may be gone, but now the fort's crawling with windbags. The calamity was mercy for normal folks. At least the marshals left the kid a parting gift. Something the windbags just can't handle. Something that'll punch clean through their greasy hides. Windbags ain't much different from normal folks. All they want's a warm place to stay and a decent meal. Well, the fort ain't theirs by right. Not a scratch on him as he presses on to higher ground. Kid's stash of grenades is there for him if things get even worse. Security's plain gone haywire. Windbags gummed up the works. They trapped the kid in the middle of the fort's parade grounds. And now
Nice.
Nobody down at Cinder Brick Fort.
As much time before Prosper Bluff where I lose it all.
His own journey to the city.
I gotta do.
Ghost travels ain't much compared to what the kids had to go through for all this. No use praying to the gods these days. No time for it either. Folks used to make pilgrimage here to pay their respects to Pith, the bull. Well, the gods are long gone now. And the Orchard Core, it's long gone too. In time, though, the bull stopped being a symbol and started being decoration. Pith makes a decent scarecrow, at least. Then Pith lights up like a rodeo. Must have been guarding that shrine. Popping windbags is hard enough. No need to get the gods involved. Well, if the gods are alive, they must be plenty sore. Seems Pith ain't much of a watchdog. Now we can build a shrine of our own, though I got some alternatives in mind.
I keep missing the double nade on Pith.
The Langston River flowed free and wild till the calamity drank it all up. Maybe all that water just grew wings and flew off. Riverbanks swarming with windbags. They're so bent on finding the core they hardly notice the kid. Lucky for him, a certain famous ferry barge is still afloat. She sends some squirts crying home as she leaves port. Maybe Nellie knows the way to the core. Maybe she can slip right past all the clamor on the coast. Or maybe not. The security skiff pulls up portside. Nellie's just another windbag to those guns.
Pretty weak.
Just then, the windbags notice who she's sailing with. They're pretty steamed about what happened at Cinderbrick. They try to cut her off. They try to slow her down. They try to knock her out. Well, Weepin' Nellie tries harder. Try as she might, though, she hits a snag. Kid's gotta help her get untangled. Favors for favors. At least she picked a good spot for a break, because the core's right there. Then the kid hears an unusual sound, like 100 flapping wings. They had their own eyes on the core. But why? He finds Weepin' Nellie raring to go. Turns out she's got a special surprise for when the waters get rough. Traffic things think they're king of the roost now. Rest of us only wish we could fly in times like these. Security skiffs keep on coming starboard side. Don't seem to care what they shoot, as long as they hit something. The windbag's getting even better idea. Well, it all proves too much for poor Nellie. She's just gotta make one last stop. With her last breath, Nellie gets the kid to solid ground. They want that core real bad. Might be they want it just as bad as a kid. Kid shoes them off.
Be a slight time loss, I'm not sure.
Not even once.
Nope, time save.
You should remember.
Alright, don't mess this level up. Please.
Why go to Prosper Bluff? Used to take an enterprising man or a plain old fool to venture out that far. And that's why you go to Prosper Bluff, ain't it? They're the kid here.
Okay.
In a long while. How's it go again? Yeah, that's the one. Well, no point explaining what happens next, right? Suffice it to say, kid ain't coming home empty-handed. And besides, it's like the song goes. They'll be here before
That's
too
pretty
long.
cool, though. I didn't think you could actually recover instantly from that one where I didn't do the clip.
We darn near celebrated.
First time I've ever done that.
Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow or again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people. But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find. Kid's surprised when I tell him there's only one core left. I shouldn't have believed it either. We tracked the final core beyond the city to the wilds.
I'll mess these next couple levels up, and I'm good. I'm Gucci.
Wild unknown. Place can eat a man alive. Place is so raw, even the Calamity couldn't cook it. Not all of it. Kid learns the hard way not to touch those things. Pecker's got the core, like they're building a bastion of their own. The welcoming committee scrambles to attention. Didn't expect the kid so soon. They shouldn't have let the guard down. Getting that core was one thing. Getting out's gonna be another. Then kid gets the feeling he's being watched. He digs his way out of the clearing, but the wilds won't let him go without a fight. And lunkheads ain't fond of two-legged animals. After all, he's got the final core. His journey's over, right? Well, no.
Alright, don't miss the pipe skip, please. I got a lot of time to save on this one.
Kid knows something's up when we ain't there to give a warm welcome. See, Zolf and I were just wrapping up a heated discussion. Zolf can barely muster the words. The Calamity failed, he says, but I will not. And with that, Zolf leaves us here, alone. Seems the only thing the Calamity saved for Zolf. Zolf banged up the monument pretty bad. But there's a way to put it back together. The shards.
Got that going for me.
After Zolf's little episode, Kid sets off in search of shards. First stop, Joss.
Decent dream, and I should be minus 30. At least.
And I won't be able to guide you back. Well, I let him go. What else could I do? What could any of us do? But the shards can make it better. They're like smaller doses of the core's medicine. Shame the only place to fill that prescription is out here in the wilds. This place is intoxicating. Don't know where he's gone. Might be gone for good for all I know. Wherever he is, it's somewhere I've never been. Somewhere I never want to go.
Good.
We're there and welcome him with open arms. Kid pops him. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a lonesome ghost of a gas fella.
Good.
I'm Zolf of Ligura. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Did anybody else survive? Peckers, lunkheads, wallflowers, pincushions, pineapples, swamp weeds, ankle
This is up.
Kid sets foot inside one of Celander's famous watering holes. He has the nerve to flash the shield he stole. Would you look at what he did to poor old Rondi, the bartender?
Alright, I think I got it.
To start at the beginning.
Yep.
It's so simple with this one. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. He sees what's left of Pith, the bull. He wakes up. I'm just fooling. He sees what's left of his lifelong friend. His friend. He's coming down too. He sees what's left. Undone.
Everything else was good. As long as I don't have a terrible boss fight, I'm fine. Got a time save. Maybe even gold.
Thought we'd lost him, but he finally comes to. The shard ain't lost either. Not anymore. Now to find a ticket out of this hole. Ever heard of a lung blossom? Bootlickers dig their nasty thorns into his heels. Mother only knows what happened to
Gold!
the kid never much.
Nice! Saved 3 seconds there. And that wasn't even that good of a final fight because I actually missed a nade. The waste one.
A shard is like a poor man's core, but beggars can't be choosers. That's it. A few more shards like that, and we'll be back in business. A single shard can breathe new life into this place. The shard's got enough juice to spruce up any of these places.
Good Brothos and I'm pretty set unless I make a huge mistake.
Many a tale folks use to scare their children straight originated here. They used to think that ankle gators were extinct. Well, they ain't. Turns out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard. Ankle gators love shiny things. The brushers use their pikes to keep their distance around here. Now the kid can do the same. Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap. The closer you get to an ankle gator's lair, the thicker the tall grass grows. One bad step in that tall grass and he's Queen Anne's lunch. Wanna know how to find an ankle gator lair? You use a kid as bait. Now she's coming for him. She's got nowhere else to go. He's got it, and now to finish her off. After all that, kid lets the ankle gator go.
Gold Rothus?
Hope Queen Anne don't mind us borrowing from her treasury. All that trouble for a single shard, but you know what? It was worth it. Seems the gods recommended this place to all their friends. Know how Caelondia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wilds could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. Whole place shudders in a
It was a weak clip.
The grand rail of Point Lemaine. Not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices. The Army's triggers once had the place on lockdown, but it can give the kid a lift. Just as long as he can stay clear of the trouble on the tracks. The grand rail's all grown over with things that Calamity chewed up and spat out. Things eager to take back their turf. Kid don't let so much as one of those things slip by. Of course, the Grand Rails seemed much more fighting in bygone times. It was right here that Zulf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Near on 50 years ago, first shots fired in the Ura-Caelondian War. Okay, so maybe...
Well, this is a bad Point Lemaine. I'm losing time. Almost 100% unless something amazing happens.
Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. That was bad. It's still got one good run in store for him, though. All the rotten wood there on the rails turned it into swamp weed central. Ever tried dancing side to side while holding your breath? While choking on swamp weed? While peckers trying to prick you in the eye? Well, let me tell you, it ain't fun. reached the end of the line. He'll be picking swamp weed out of those boots for days. Turns out he's got company up at the rail station, waiting for him. At first he thinks it's Zulf. "This is for you," says the man. Then wham! When the kid comes to, the man's long gone, but something else is there. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard.
As bad as that seemed, I didn't lose that much time. Though I can lose some time here since my CC is really good.
That note cuts straight to the heart of things, don't it? It ain't too late to unlock the
Play have a decent CC.
The arsenal's complete, in case we need protection.
Please have a good CC.
Not everything blew up in the calamity. Why, Colford Cauldron here blew up way ahead of its time. The cauldron boiled over some 300 years ago. They say it filled the skies with ash and the lakes with molten rock. As for us, we learned an awful
What the fuck?
cauldron. Sure, we dusted off a good many secrets out here, but we discovered other things we're better off not knowing. All sorts of awful things crawling underfoot. Places inhospitable as they come. After all, when we looked down inside Colford Cauldron, we saw in there the heart of the world. The heart now laid bare by the calamity. As for the kid, he just has to get that shard out of there. Too bad taking that thing woke up every last stink eye from here to Johnson Bog. Pops open on him like a pimple on a school day. And where there's one stink eye, there's always more. The cauldron's tenants all gather up to bid the
We
kid.
lost 0.2 seconds, that's good.
With a good spyglass, you can still see the cauldron from the city.
That's a great CC, considering the fall.
Comes back looking like the inside of a chimney. The shard works like a charm. You can hear the monument's heartbeat again. We need an awful big lost and found under the circumstances. Can't rightly call Mount Zand a mountain anymore. There's no more mountains now. There's no place left for the beasts of the wild to go. We only found their little lair because they found themselves a little shard. But they ain't yet prepared for any company. Best thing we can do for those beasts right now is put them down quick and clean. Look at it this way. It's either them or us. But if we win, they win too. Our Bastion is everybody's game. Not just ours. We just really need their shard.
Alright, I have a huge time save here. I just need to not mess it up horribly.
We'll all be better off once the Bastion is complete. The monument's getting better. Zulf sure did a number on it, though. Just the occasion to crack open the distillery's private reserve.
Please don't mess this up. Don't mess this up.
Imagine everything you'd need to build a city like Ceylon. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes Burstone Quarry. The quarry came with a lifetime supply of windbags. Not only are these rocks a source of life, they're recording everything, all the time, taking it all in. We found that the oldest ones remember things. Now why would the Ura sell off such a fascinating place? Might be the gods told them the quarry's bad news. Those rocks, all polished to a mirror sheen, the largest ones, you know as cores. Remember how I said ain't the worst thing in the quarry?
That was a good quarry.
We took to Colin, Sir Lunky. We never could get stubborn old Lunky to leave the quarry alone.
Maybe not the best quarry, but it was a good one.
Our Then the kid hears a voice calling from down the hall. Are you alright? It says. Kid hears him, but he ain't about to be deterred. If that's the way it is, he says, then I won't stop you, because my countrymen will.
Nice. To keep up this pace, I have bought the wolf.
Say what you will about Zolf, but he's a man of his word. His countrymen don't much care for pleasantries, though. The Ura think they got him. They're wrong. No way out of this. Not without a fight. Well, it's all more than...
Bad isn't, or whatever, or a skip.
The shards can put this disease in remission, but there's only one cure. We need to finish what we started. The memorial may be finished, but our part is far from over.
Alright, I have a really good gate, but I think I can beat it.
One last shard. It's all we need to put this mess behind us. And mother, what a mess it is. A mess like that could have only been made by hand. At the heart of the calamity was a simple idea. We sought solutions far beyond the city. We never wanted to go to war again. Wanted to rule it out. Most of our efforts didn't bear fruit. Then there was a breakthrough, but it didn't come from one of our people. It came from an Ura.
First part wasn't too bad.
Named Ven. Ven worked for the Mancers, the sharpest knives in the city's drawer. With his help, the Mancers devised a way to seal the Ura tunnels shut in a flash.
What?
Just like that, every last Ura living in the Tassel terminals will be gone. This discovery was never to be used, they said, except as a last resort. But Ven didn't like being manipulated. He had plans of his own. He sabotaged the Mancers' little science project, set it to blow up in their faces. But remember, the Bastion can fix everything. We just need that shard. Too bad the Ura ain't exactly been willing to collaborate on that front. For now, Kid had little choice but to...
Oh, I didn't lose any time.
First things first, though. There's some...
Save time here, and as long as I stay somewhat even on Tazai, pop the wolf.
The Ura fell back, no doubt planning the next move. But we knew ours already. There's something we had to do before going after that last shard.
Last Sultans was pretty good, so here's hoping.
Well, now it's personal, ain't it? It's personal for him, and it's personal for me. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Well, the Ura must be in a panic right about now. They even sick their little rattletail pets on the kid. By now, every Ura from here to the terminals must know he's in town. The Ura keep hanging on to that barricade. After all, their homeland's not much farther. Yes, our people caused the calamity, but here we are trying to fix it. As the hour grows desperate, the Ura bring out their big guns.
Gold? Oh my god. Because I don't have a reset on TT, I am PBing. Like, there's no way I'm losing a minute without reset.
You had to see if
Let's just not have that.
was true. Once the kid gets that last shard from Zolf, it'll all...
Here we go. And my TT wasn't even that amazing. Like...
I can't hear him at all anymore.
My first part was horrible.
But he'll be alright. The Calamity hit the Tazzle terminals hardest of all. You know why Zolf went back there. Zolf must be there all alone.
Shit.
Just waiting. All his old friends and family were there. You know what's funny? Look around. There's not much left to do here in the Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right? When the kid brings back that shard...
Well, that wasn't good, but... That fall wasn't good, but everything else was decent. As long as I don't get reset here on this part, because I doubt I'll have to reset on the other one.
It's more like... all of this will just stop. Things will go back to the way they used to be. This whole place is a living record of the times before the Calamity. You be your old self again. Think of all those times that didn't go your way. You follow me? No mistakes. Everything you've ever done, you could do it over. And wouldn't that be grand? Well, I guess there's nothing more to say. Who am I kidding? Look. There's something else. A confession. How come I know so much about the Bastion? Well, I designed the place, but that's beside the point. There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time. You can't tell.
This is an awful rock part. Leave some decent time.
Already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing?
Hopefully have a good last part. I don't lose my wolf bop.
I don't know.
That was an awful rocks. Awful.
You're wondering if there ain't some other way out of this mess. It's alright. I can tell. But why would you even want another way? Unless you wanted to stay here with us. The weight of the Calamity. It's on our shoulders. We can't just let it go. Bastion does have another function. Strictly speaking, if ever the monument blew out, and we couldn't repair it, we could still evacuate. First, we'd round up as many folks as we could carry.
That wasn't good.
Next,
Let's do 2 of those.
take the cores, and we'd take off away from here. That way, all of us could leave the city together. You know Zolf and his countrymen won't be giving up that shard without a fight, don't you? Zolf and the Ura, all they want now is to see the Bastion fall. It's such a shame, but as
Crap. That's not good.
Zolf ain't lost every shred of decency though, has he? He tried to warn you about his plans. He tried to warn the kid. For Zolf, this ain't a personal matter. Zolf all the way home. Kid saves Zolf once, but I don't think he'd make the same mistake. I wouldn't. Don't you worry, though. Once the Bastion's
I think I'm losing time here.
all be all right. You
Thought I was gonna die there.
Thing, are you?
That would have ended the run.
Kid's probably dealt with Zolf by now. He reminds me of myself when I was his age. I ever tell you about those days?
I still bout the wolf. It was a really bad TT though. Holy crap.
Hey, kid. Get up, kid. Come on, that ain't funny. I say get up. That's more like it. Now, set that shard into the monument there. Then we'll talk. The Bastion. It's finally finished. Now, there's something I want you to see. Welcome to the heart of the Bastion. I ain't one for long goodbyes, so here's the deal. Zia and I figure you done the heavy lifting, so you get to do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions. Hey, kid.
You made it.
That was a nice run.
It's
Overall.
finished. Now, sit tight. It'll be over soon.
The only bad level was TT.
No matter what happens next, you're done good. I suppose all that's left is to try and remember this moment. The Bastion's gonna take us back to a better time before any of this. Might be we'll forget everything you've done and each other. Though after all we've been through, I find that hard to believe.
This feels really good. Sub 49, and I bopped the wolf, I believe. Unless I'm completely wrong on my times.
In the next one. Say, Landia, we're coming home.